Hello, and welcome back to yet another attempt to give myself a challenge and me not following through all the way. Parts 3 and 4. These are my last drawings for the month of October. I skipped some days, so instead of having a total of 31 drawings, I only have a total of 23. I feel like the quality in this set of drawings is conceptually worse, but technique-wise, they're pretty good, pretty decent. I like them. I think the way I shaded some of these was very nice, and I did try my best to do research on each character and to clothe them accordingly, but I got lazy. I would be down to draw a couple more of these in the future, but for now, I believe these are the last of the series. And with that, here's day 1. The randomizer wheel lands on Calliope Jellington. She is a blob monster that was created in a lab and was left at a circus, where the ringmaster and his wife adopted her. She was featured in the Freak du Chic line, which is circus themed. And I really like the dolls featured in this line. Like, they all looked so glamorous, and I just really love circus themed stuff. Oop. So I based Calliope's outfit mostly on 1900s circus attire. I added this huge golden ruffle over here. I don't love how she turned out, but I do like how I shaded this corset over here and this black trim, ruffle trim, whatever. I think I could have given her a different style. I don't know, maybe something like that, but I digress. I think the coloring on the dress part is actually pretty decent. I like it. But yeah, this hair, that ain't it. Day 2, the fates chose Scalita Calaveras. Scalita is a fashion designer and a skeleton from Hexaco. Yep, Hexaco. Let's let that sink in for a bit. Okay, Scalita was first introduced in the Scaris movie, and she is one of the 3 candidates chosen to apprentice under one of the biggest, most famous fashion designers in the monster world. And it turns out that, spoilers, said famous fashion designer is actually evil and was planning on imprisoning one of these 3 girls so that they could just keep designing her clothes and she could take all the credit. It's revealed that she has a history of doing this, and she uses her prisoners until they run out of ideas, then she leaves them to die. Fun. It just seemed fitting to have Scalita drawn in Day of the Dead attire, especially since she loves marigolds and monarch butterflies. She does already have a Day of the Dead look, but I wanted to try something else. And I was tempted to dress her like Katrina with a big ass fancy hat, but I really wanted the veil. So I took inspiration from a little bit of everything. Like, look at these freaking queens. Once I had finished drawing everything, I thought it looked a little bit plain. Like, it didn't look intricate enough to me, so I added these little designs at the very end. Right here, you can see it on the veil as well. You know, they're abstract flowers, they're very last second, very unplanned, but I like it. Day 3. Ladyluck smiles on Avia Trotter, the Harpy Centaur fusion. This is a character we see in only one of the movies and rarely ever again. Her story was that her and her peeps were discriminated against for being mixed between two monsters. So they switch schools a lot until they get to Monster High and they find some pretty good friends. Now for Avia, I wanted to give her like an action pose, so I had to look at like a lot of horse pictures. Since my focus was mostly on the pose, I gave her pretty simple-ish clothing. Like she's giving us Brendan Urie ringleader vibes. One thing to point out here is the chalkiness of these watercolors. These are Artist Loft watercolors and they dry just very, very, very matte. So if you have line art that you care about, you're gonna have to draw it over again. Like as you can see here, I actually kind of let the chalkiness work for me and give me a little bit of dimension. But yeah, all in all, not bad. I really like how I shaded these hind quarters. Day 4. Next up, we've got LED, the New York robot with a heart of metal. There's not much about her, honestly. She wants to be a famous DJ, and she has this holographic turntable thing that she can just conjure up. So for her design, I looked at a couple of cyberpunk styles because I think it would just fit her, really. I saw a trend of dark and sometimes baggy clothes with a lot of light up elements. My favorite part is this. I gave her this light up trench coat, and it really is my favorite part. I love how it came out. These little dots at the bottom are kind of my favorite. Like, what are they? Do they move? Do they twinkle? I don't know. I just work here. Honestly, I do think that here she's giving us Fable Thorn from Ever After High. Like, I wasn't planning on that, but I don't hate it. Day 5, we've got Honey Swamp, the Honey Island swamp monster. Honey is an aspiring cinematographer from New Orleans. Honey is described as a Southern Belle, so I based her dress on the Southern Belle Silkstone Barbie. I did change it to her signature colors. So instead of lace on the trim here, I did kind of this black torn up tulle, just like she has in her OG design. Lastly, I gave her tiny alligator with tiny hat. Very Paris Hilton like. I couldn't help myself. In retrospect, I feel like I should have added a little bit more dimension, more color here on the hair because she does have like different colored streaks. Whereas here it looks like it's just one color. But yeah, very demure, very simple, very elegant, which is what I was going for. Day 6. Luck smiles on Laguna Blue, our favorite Australian saltwater monster. For her design, I just drew her Dance of the Dead doll design. I just always loved this look for her. She can rock a nice mohawk hairstyle, and I love that for her. One thing I did make sure of is to give her hella scales, just so many scales, and to make them very obvious. And as for her dress, I didn't change it too much. I just made it a gradient and added a couple of bubbles. I like to think that it's kind of like a lava lamp dress, and that the bubbles move up and just, twinkle all around. A little bit lazy, but I do like the execution of it. I couldn't come up with a good idea for her. So I just decided to draw like my favorite look that she does have. Day 7, we have Abby Bominable, the abominable snowman's daughter. She is from the Himalayas, but she also has a Russian accent. So going mostly off of that, I based her hair and fluffy hat mostly on Katya Samlochkova. I was tempted to give her this look, or even worse, this look. But in the end, I just drew her in this warmish coat with a crystal pattern, just like she has in her regular OG art. Elsa is quaking. Day 8. The wheel chose River Styx, the Grim Reaper in training. Now for this one, I looked at a lot of gothic Lolita dresses for her, and I really leaned into the blue and the pink here. Like, I kind of wanted to show that she is in the middle of something, like stuck in between. Just wanted to give this idea that she is divided in half. It's about the dichotomy of life and death. I wanted her clothing to look very ripped, but also look like it's floating. Like, think a Dementor from Harry Potter. Lastly, her scythe here is made up of a femur, an ulna, a radius, and a humerus. I like how this one came out. I might have gone a little bit crazy with these dots, but I just wanted to add a little something, What's life without pizzazz? Day 9. We've got everyone's favorite villainous zombie, Monica Decay. Monica is a reboot character, and she's also like the only Hispanic in the reboot. While reading on her, I found out that she's actually from Spain. And like this whole time, I was so sure that she was Puerto Rican, because when she's doing mischief in the movies, you can hear like a reggaeton song in the background, and reggaeton is Puerto Rican. So Mattel, what's good? Anyways, her story was that she was sick of hiding from humans, so she started to completely hate them. Now her life's mission is to turn as many monsters into zombies that she can control, so she can go to war with the humans. She doesn't give a damn. She quite literally left Frankie to die. in the second movie, just to torment humans. Let me say that again. She used Frankie and left her for dead just so she can go TP some humans' houses. Choices. So what's happening here? Monica's style is very radioactive nuclear waste chic, is what I like to call it. I gave her this ribcage corset and a lot of worm accessories because zombie. I really leaned into the punk style here, and I just dressed her head to toe in fishnets. Why not? Since her main MO is to turn as many others into zombies, I wanted to showcase her nails here, there, and I gave her nails a sinister pose. Like, her whole pose overall is what I think a high fashion zombie model would look like. And so, this is how the saga ends. Thank you for accompanying me on this journey. This last video was a bit late, mostly because I had no ambition, no motivation. My favorite of this last set is definitely gonna be Scalita. I poured my blood, sweat, and tears into this one. And my least favorite is gonna have to be Gliath. I was not in the zone that day, like at all. I really hate that hair. Final thoughts? I'm very pleased with how most of these came out. I don't absolutely hate any of them. I just didn't try as hard on a couple, I feel. I really wish that the wheel had landed on Frankie, Draculora, and Twyla, but it just was not in the stars. Maybe next year, or maybe I'll draw them just because. I choose my own destiny. Thank you for watching this long. As always, I hope that everyone stays safe, especially now in this holiday season. People really need to take more precautions, for real. Stay safe. Bye.